How's it going, folks? This is the first video in the Nightwitch MTG channel, and today I'm going to be playing a really cool take on Samwise Gamgee combo. So, the quick of it is you win the game by having Samwise Gamgee. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, create a food token. You can sacrifice 3 foods and return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Then you're going to have your Cauldron Familiar, that whenever Cauldron Familiar enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And you can sacrifice a food to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you have a Sam on the board and you have a food and a Cauldron Familiar in the yard, you can sacrifice the food, bring the Cauldron Familiar back, creates another food, and then if you have a sack outlet, you go infinite and kill your opponent. What this build is looking to do is have a B plan with Abhorrent Oculus and Badgermole Cub to kind of be removal lightning rods. So you're going to want your opponents to focus on getting rid of your Badgermole Cubs and your Abhorrent Oculuses to free up a spot to go and do your combo because they'll have used their removal on the Oculus and the Badgermole Cubs. If you're lucky enough to face non-exile removal decks, you have some Scout for Survivors to bring back some combo pieces. Also, Scout for Survivors works really well with Malevolent Rumble, which helps you find your combo pieces and fill up your yard. You can fill up your yard and then bring the cards back with Scout for Survivors. And in a pinch, you can even use the cards in the yard to cast Abhorrent Oculus with the exile part of the casting cost. Abhorrent Oculus, you're mostly going to be grabbing it off a Birthing Ritual, so you're going to want to jump from like a Badgermole Cub to an Abhorrent Oculus or something like that. So this is a really proactive deck. It's going to be giving your opponent a lot of questions that they have to answer, and if they can't answer your questions correctly, you win the game. And so in the sideboard, we've got a lot of hate bears. We got Soulless Jailer, Gaddock Teague, Lavinia Azorius Renegade, Dothy Voidwalker, Sun Cleanser, Crystal Barricade as our 2-drops. Those are all good in many matchups, and we'll see as we go on. Endurance, Ruthless Lawbringer, Grist, some Force of Vigor, some Culling Rituals, and a Surgical Extraction. So it's like mostly creatures to take advantage of your Court of Callings and your Birthing Rituals, and then some stuff that works really well against like Goad-wide decks, like Culling Rituals, really great against Boros Energy and Affinity. Force of Vigor is really good against Affinity and Amulet Titan. So we're going to see how this build goes. I haven't played any games with this list yet, but I saw it on the Samwise Discord server, so I'm going to check it out and see how it goes. I have been having a lot of success with Abhorrent Oculus builds lately, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, the Sam decks are just really fun. They bring me back to 2016 Modern, where you had the Malaria combo decks. The first time I ever lost to a Malaria combo deck, I was like, I need to play this deck. This looks so much fun. And yeah, this has a surprising amount of grind to it. You got Young Wolves that are more or less 2 bodies. Cauldron Familiars come back constantly. Now, the second half of Samwise, the sacrifice 3 creatures, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand, is surprisingly use that more often than you think. There's sneaky stuff that you can get with it. Like you can return Besajus from your yard, which is really important. Grists are great to grab. Some of your hate bears are legendary, so you're able to grab those back if they get dealt with. You can even like grab another Sam to just like keep generating food tokens, stuff like that. You don't use it often, but when you use it, it's backbreaking for your opponent. All right, hopefully we get an opponent soon. I know there's a challenge going on right now. Oh, there we go. All right, we've been paired. Let's see how it goes. Lost the die roll, playing it Startled 8. So this is a very good hand. You have a goose, 2/3 of the combo, a must answer threat, and a way to find the last combo piece. The Lush Portico is a little rough, but we can do stuff like play a goose turn 1, and then turn 2 play a seer, and go from there. So let's keep this hand and see what our opponent's on. All right, Bloodstained Mire. Are they going to have any turn 1 play? No turn 1 play. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to play Windswept Heath, crack it, go get an Overgrown Tomb. Now, the worst part of this deck is the mana base. You'll see that over the course of these games. It's just very pip intensive. So we're going to grab an Overgrown Tomb, pay 2 life, and cast our Gilded Goose and create a food token. One way to beat targeted graveyard removal, or really even mass graveyard removal during your combo turns, is if you have multiple food tokens on the field. If you have multiple food tokens, then you're able to activate the Cauldron Familiar. If they go to interact with it, you can sack another food token and activate it again. So, alright, they played an Elegant Parlor, so this is probably Storm. It's Storm or it's Boros Energy, but yeah, it looks like it's Storm. So we are already under the gun. We very probably are going to lose next turn. So what can we do to put ourselves in a position to win if we don't lose next turn? To do that, I think we're going to want to play both the Cauldron Familiar and the Viscera Seer, keeping our food token so that the next turn we're able to cord for a Sam and win the game. So we're kind of just putting all of our chips on the table and hoping that we can get away with them bricking. It's very unlikely. Storm is pretty consistent turn 3 deck, but we're going to try our best and see what happens here. So we're going to play the Overgrown Tomb untapped, play a Cauldron Familiar, always yield, and play a Viscera Seer. And pass the turn and cross our fingers. The only way that if they don't kill us, we get punished super hard is if they like grape shot away all of our stuff. But I mean, what can you do about that? They're starting off strong with a Manamorphose into Poetic Ritual and then a Reckless Impulse. Did they brick on the Impulse? They did brick on the Impulse. So hopefully they don't have much more in their hand, but that's doubtful. And okay, they semi-bricked on the second Impulse. They're definitely gonna want to play that Ral. I'm surprised they didn't just now. Okay, so now they have a Passion Flames and Artist Talent and a Desperate Ritual. I think we're dead. We're gonna let them play it out, but I'm pretty sure we are already dead. Because they can just play the Passion Flames and recast everything. I am surprised they didn't play the Ral first, but maybe it wouldn't have worked out for them. But yeah, now they get to just recast everything in their yard. They need to brick on both they need to brick on the Impulses and the Glimpse. So they need to brick on like the top 7 cards or something like that. Or I think we're just dead, but we're gonna let them play it out a little bit. See how it goes. All right, so this Reckless Impulse gives us okay. They bricked on that one. This Reckless Impulse. How about this one? Okay, I mean, as long as they can flip this Ral in 1, 2, 3 spells, like we're just dead. Seems like they've been missing a lot of these Ral flips, but they have a lot of mana. They still have a lot of spells to cast. We're kind of toast. Definitely missing having like an Eidolon. All right, we're gonna just concede here. Definitely missing having an Eidolon of the Rhetoric in my sideboard for this matchup. It's just so hard for them to get through. But luckily we have Crystal Barricade. Crystal Barricade does a lot of really good work. It gives you hexproof and prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. So they have to ping it 4 times with a Grape Shot before they can even target us. So that's really good. Gaddock Teague is going to help. Oh, Lavinia is going to help. And let's see here. So these 3 cards definitely. Crystal Barricade stops their win con. Gaddock Teague stops Passion Flames. And Lavinia stops them from being able to go off like super fast. Like they have to have more. They have to have lands to be able to cast their spells, and it also stops the Ral ult, so that's really good. Soulless Jailer, I think I'm gonna put in, even though it does stop our Cord Calling. Gagti also stops the Cord, but you're able to sack them when you go off anyway, so it's kind of fine. And I think we're gonna put a little bit more Graveyard Hate. So we're gonna put this Graveyard Hate in. Everything else we don't really need. So now it's time to cut some cards. So we'll cut Sylvan Safekeeper. This is not an important Oculus matchup, and then it's not a Scout for Survivors matchup. Actually, maybe it's more of not a Badgermole Cub matchup, because we still want to have the Rumbles, and then the Scouts bring back the stuff from the Rumbles. Alright, so maybe we'll bring in the Endurances and just bring in one Endurance and cut the Cub. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So we're going to try this out and see what happens. Alright, let's go. On to game 2. We're down 1 to Storm, and we're on the play. So we got a hate piece. We got Rumble. We have a third of the combo. We have some acceleration. And we even have an answer to the Ruby Medallion. So we're gonna keep this hand. And we're gonna start off with just Overgrown Tomb into Gilded Goose Pass. And yield through turn. And yield through turn. I've been turn 2. The first time I ever played Ruby Storm, actually, I won on turn 2 in my first game. It was very funny. Okay, Samwise is an amazing draw. So I think here we're going to want to maximize being able to win on turn 3. Well, can we even do that? So if we Windswept Heath, Malevolent Rumble, then we can have 4 mana for that turn. I mean, Malevolent Rumble could actually just put a cat in the yard. Okay, so I think we're going to Rumble into Soulless Jailer. That way, if we Rumble a cat into the yard, we can play Samwise, Viscera Seer, sack the Soulless Jailer, win on turn 3. It also advances our game plan and also gives them an obstacle that they have to jump over. So let's do that. We'll get a Temple Garden here, untapped, and play the Malevolent Rumble. So we got Haywire Mite, Gaddock Teague, Endurance, and a land. Not exactly what I wanted to see, but Gaddock Teague will be a good second hate piece. So now our opponent is going to have 2 hate pieces to play through. The more obstacles you throw at your Storm opponent, the more time you have to potentially win the game. So we're going to do that and see how it goes. All right, what do they have here? Manamorphose. Do they have Wear Tear? Is that what they're playing to? I mean, they had the mana to cast it anyway, but... Okay, and there's a Ral. Alright. And there's our Cauldron Familiar. So we actually punted... I mean, we didn't exactly punt, but... if we had... Oh, wait, actually, hold on 1 second here. So if we play if we play the Beseju, cast Gaddock Teague, cast Viscera Seer, create a food... Yeah, I think we win here. So let's play the Beseju, cast Samwise Gamgee, cast Viscera Seer, always yield, create a food, cast the Cauldron Familiar, always yield, and now we can sacrifice the Soulless Jailer, sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar, and then bring it back. And we win. Will our opponent make us go through the motions? I was nice enough to concede to them. Looks like they're making us do it. It's annoying. So in paper, All right, there we go. Thank you, opponent. So in paper, Viscera Seer is like a better card to play. Um, but online, you kind of want the carrion feeder because you don't have to scry every time. It just like puts a counter on the carrion feeder, so it actually is easier to combo with that. So I'm playing a 3-1 split, even though I'd probably play a 2-2 split in paper. So that worked out really well. We didn't even need the hate pieces there. We just kind of hit them with the turn 3 kill. Um, I think we're going to just run this back and see what happens. It's gonna be much harder to win on the draw, but we're gonna try. All right, let's go. Okay, so here we have. This is a rough hand. So it's 5 lands, a Young Wolf, and a Birthing Ritual. You can just win by going turn 1 Young Wolf, turn 2 Birthing Ritual very easily. However, you need to have a lot of time for that to work out, and we don't have time against Ruby Storm, so we're gonna mulligan this hand. Okay, this is a really rough hand because again we have a Birthing Ritual and a Cauldron. We have like most of the combo, but we can only cast green spell. So unfortunately, we have to mulligan this one. I really want to keep this hand, but we can't do it. Getting down to 5 is really tough. But we'll keep this one. Soulless Jailer will help. So keep. Soulless Jailer is gonna help. Endurance will help. But we have to put back. Well, let's put back. Actually, let's put back the Endurance, and let's put back the Cord. So we want to keep Sam. We want to keep the Jailer, and we want to keep the 2 lands. So do we want to throw back a Ritual, a Cord, or an Endurance? Endurance will help us if they are able to deal with the Jailer. But Birthing Ritual helps us churn through the deck, and Cord can help find like a Hate Bear or a combo piece. If we want to play the Endurance, we're gonna have to exile the Sam, so that kind of feels bad on a mull to 5. So we'll put back the Endurance, and we gotta decide which one. Do we want targeted searching, or do we want luck-based searching? I think I'm going to go with the lower casting cost one, just because we are dealing with limited resources here, and this can be Birthing Ritual can give you value over and over and over. So we're going to go with that, and this is going to be tough. They could kill us on turn 2, but let's see what happens here. All right, we're going to play Lush Portico and Surveil. Hopefully it's a land. All right, we're going to keep that land on top and just cross our fingers we're not dead. If we're not dead, we're going to play Solar Jailer on 2, and then turn 3, Young Wolf into Birthing Ritual, and then just start churning the value there. But again, Ruby Storm is a very fast deck, and they can win on turn 2. See, that's really scary. They put a Pyretic Ritual in the yard. That means they probably already have a ritual, and they're going to... See, I don't understand that. They could have ritualed into Ral and then just gone off, but now they're giving us another turn. So we'll see. We'll play the Overgrown Tomb untapped here, and then cast a Soulless Jailer and pass. So now they're going to need to They can't really cast Past in Flames. Their Ral ultimate doesn't work, and they can't cast spells from like their Ren's Resolves and stuff like that. So let's see what the opponent has to offer here. I mean, they have artifact removal spells and stuff like that, so they could just simply do that, but we'll see what happens. And there we go. They very easily removed our hate piece. They got a Ren's Resolve, and now they're off to the races. So that's a little unfortunate, but we did the best that we could do with what we were dealt. So let's see if they got us. Ren's Resolve showed a Valakut Awakening, which could draw them 4 cards. Also got them a 3rd land, so they'll probably play that Sacred Fountain. Okay, they played that as a land tapped, which is really interesting. So they're trying to kill us next turn, it looks like. The Artist Talent is going to really help them a lot. Our best draw here would be a way to remove that. So now this is interesting. We can play a Young Wolf into a Birthing Ritual, and then like maybe hit like a Lavinia, um, to stop them, or we can Rumble and hope that we hit. What do we hope that we hit if we Rumble? We can hit a Haywire Might. We can hit a Gaddock Teague. What else? Can I look at the? No, I can't look at the deck from here. So we can hit a Gaddock Teague. We can hit. Yeah, Lavinia, a Crystal Barricade. And these are all things that we can also hit off a Birthing Ritual, and Birthing Ritual will see more cards. So I actually think it is correct to play the Young Wolf into the Birthing Ritual. We're gonna see 3 more cards. So if like our goal here is to like hit a hate piece, and cast it, then the Birthing Ritual is actually the best play. Now, it does mean that we won't be able to activate a Haywire Might, but I think that's gonna be worth it. So let's play the Young Wolf. And play a Birthing Ritual and pass, and let's hope that we hit Lavinia. Alright, there's a Crystal Barricade. So we got a little bit of a hate piece here. The wolf comes back, and now they have to deal with the Crystal Barricade before they can kill us. So that worked out really well. I think that was better than rumbling. And we'll yield through this turn and see what opponent does. Alright, they played their Sacred Foundry. Are they ticking? Alright, they casting Past in Flames. That means that they're going to be able to kill the Crystal Barricade with Untimely Malfunction. I think they're going to get us here, but it's, you know... We mulled the 5. We gave them 2 pieces of interaction. They were able to deal with them. I can't be terribly upset about how this played out. We did the best that we could against a really hard matchup. So let's just watch them kill us, pretty much. I have had a lot of positive results against Ruby Storm with Samwise, just because like you can get underneath them and kill them on turn 3, like we saw in game 2 of this match. But they are more resilient than you think. Maybe I overboarded. I don't know. Probably not, but just let them go through this. The artist talent really like puts them over the top. They're gonna be able to see almost their entire deck this game or this turn. And once they flip the Ral, like it's over. Yeah, the Untimely Malfunction was really good. Alright, casting Ren's Resolve. Discarding anything at all? Are you discarding anything? Alright, they didn't discard, or they discarded nothing, yeah. They cast that. Yeah. I really just want to concede here, but I'm going to let them play it out because, like, there's always a very small chance they fizzle. Another Pyretic Ritual. They have Wish. They have Ren's Resolve to cast. Yeah, this is tough. I wish they split these up into like what can be cast and what can't be cast. It's hard to track the Exile Zone, but what can you do? It's a complicated game, and Moto is an old program. Alright, are they going to cast the Untimely Malfunction here? And then Wish? Storm counts 9. Yep, cast that. destroy the crystal barricade. And then they can wish for grape shot me, past in flames, grape shot me. All right, now they're just going cast and flame. Oh, the grape shot's in the yard. So they're gonna cast 1. So that's 1 mana. 2. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. They keep losing flips. Maybe they fizzle. Maybe they die. Maybe they're not able to get over the hump here. How much mana is this now? 5 mana. No, they got it. They got it. So that's 7 mana. And they can cast a couple more. Alright, good game. They got me. Alright, we lost the first one 1-2. Now on to the next one. Okay, we're back with game number 2. We lost the die roll, so this is terrible. This is one of the only problems with the surveil lands is like when you have them on turn 1, your only land, like it just hurts so much. We're gonna mulligan this one. Okay, that's better. So we have 2 lands, we have multiple combo pieces, we have a Badger Mole and a Scout for Survivors, which might come in handy later. So we're gonna toss back 1 of the cats since they are redundant. And we'll pass. Opponent has a Marsh Flats and nothing. Okay. So here, I think we're going to start off with, all right, Marsh Flats. They might have exile removal, so we don't want to start off with a familiar. We'll start off with a Viscera, or maybe we just won't play anything turn 1, and we'll just play a Verdant Catacombs and pass and surveil. I think that's a better plan to just surveil. We might get lucky and put like something good in the yard to scout. Oh, an Elegant Parlor. Are we playing Storm again? It's probably not Storm. It's probably Boros Energy. But at least we have this like endurance that could help. All right, and then they play nothing turn 2. That's really interesting. So we'll surveil. We'll get an Underground Mortuary. No response, and we'll put a wolf in the yard. So what I'm going to want to do this next turn, play a Windswept Heath, crack it, get a Temple Garden, and we're going to cast, should I cast a Badger Mole Cub, put the counters on a Mortuary, or Rumble? I think we're gonna rumble here. Okay, rumble is a rough rumble. A scout, a rumble, a Godless Shrine, and a Misty. We're gonna take the Misty and pass. We're holding up endurance, pitching Badger Mole Cub. Still think this might just be another Storm match, which quite unfortunate if it is. Oh no, it is. It's Boros Energy. Really strange that they didn't have a turn 1 or turn 2 play. Maybe they're holding up discharges or something. There's a Season Pyro. Okay, so they're not on Casey Jones. What are they going to discard? They discard a Flage and a Ranger Captain. Okay, so Flage says exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So they need 1 more card in the yard to be able to cast the Flage. Good to know. Okay. A Birthing Ritual. So we have access to... So what we could do here... What we're gonna do here is play Viscera Seer, Cauldron Familiar, and Birthing Ritual. The reason we're going to play those cards on this turn is because if we are able to see a Samwise Gamgee from the birthing ritual, we just win on the spot because we can cast an endurance to make the food to go off. And also we have endurance pitch Badgermole Cub to stop the Flage next turn. We just need to make sure that we do it when they have 5 cards in the yard before they can cast the Flage. So let's start off by cracking a Misty. And we're going to save a little bit of life and just get a Forest here. Oh, I just screwed up. Now we can't win. Oh, okay. So I screwed up there by getting a Forest. I should have gotten an Overgrown Tomb. So that's a big mistake I made. Don't make mistakes like me, folks. And then we're going to get Birthing Ritual. And I really hope we don't see a Sam, or I'm going to be kicking myself so bad. Okay, no Sam. So I'm not kicking myself, which is fine. We're going to go get a Gilded Goose. So we're going to sack the Cauldron Familiar, get a Goose, and pass. So we still are in a good position. We can still win next turn, as long as they don't have, some interaction. Which, I mean, it's Boros Energy. They have tons of interaction. But that was a big punt, getting the Forest. But it's okay. We make mistakes, and that's why we're recording these, so that we can look back on our mistakes and make changes. See, look at that. They did have a Galvanic Discharge. I read that one. It's nice that they use the mana, because now they can't flashback the Flage this turn. They do have enough stuff in the yard to do it, but we still have our Endurance, and now we actually can cast Endurance if we want to, which is really nice. No blocks. Tick 4. And pass. Chord Calling. Okay. So if we cast a Viscera Seer, so if we bring back a Cauldron Familiar, we can chord for 2. Okay, so if we... Okay, I think... So if we cast a Viscera Seer and bring back a Cauldron Familiar and cast an Endurance, we can chord for 2. So we're going to try and put the opponent in a position where they tap out and see if that works. So cast Viscera Seer. Bring back Cauldron Familiar. Opponent's scared. Okay. Now pass. Birthing Ritual trigger. Are they going to allow the trigger to happen? Are they going to try and stop us? What are they casting? Thraben Charm. On the Birthing Ritual, we're going to... What's the read here? I think they do. I think the last 2 cards they don't have another Galvanic Discharge. I think we're just gonna go for it. So we're gonna Endurance, pitching Badgermole Cub. Oh, I'm so dumb. This doesn't win the game. Oh, I'm playing really poorly. So actually, we're not gonna go for, because there's no way to make another food. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chord for 3 and actually get an Oculus. Because it's so hard for Boros to beat an Oculus. So we're just gonna get an important Oculus here. Have them shuffle their Flage in, and then we'll sack the endurance and put a rumble on the bottom and pass and get to Manifest Dread. This is like such an amazing innovation for this deck. It's really hard for Boros to deal with an Oculus, so now we can sit back, use our Oculus to stop them from attacking or attack with it. Let's see, Scout for Survivors, what can we get? We can get an Endurance back, we can just get a Goose and a Wolf. We can actually sack the Cauldron Familiar to the Viscera Sphere and then scout it back. Let's see what opponent does here. Yeah, I forgot that I was banking on the Birthing Ritual trigger to be the way to get the food. They're hasting something. A Voice of Victory. Okay. Are they hasting something else? Or are they like... Yeah, what else do they have? What are their last two cards? A Goblin Bombardment would be really scary, but I don't think they can cast it. No, they can still cast it with that mana. Just fine. Oh, that's it? That's all they're doing? Okay. This is a really strange attack. I'm honestly very confused by this attack. I guess it can have a Galvanic Discharge to kill the Oculus, because it can deal 4. So if we block here and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to 8, we'll keep the Oculus. We'll get rid of the Pyro. They can't discharge the Oculus. I think that's fine. And there's a Pride. They don't gain life. They didn't gain life this turn, so Pride's whatever. Alright, Portico. Put that in the yard. Alright, so do we want to scout? If we scout... One, 2, 3. Get those 3 back. I think that's the play. 1, 2, 3. Scout for Survivors. Make a food. Get a ton of blockers. Attack with the Oculus. And Manifest Dread. We'll get a Safekeeper. So what's cool about this is with the Viscera Sphere, their only way of gaining life is with a Flage or with a Guide of Souls plus a creature. Whatever we toss in front of the Ocelot... See, there's a Flage. Alright. That's rough. Actually, not necessarily. They have to target me to gain the life. Are they going to target me? They are. Alright, they're a good player. So they're going to target me. That's going to cause the Ocelot Pride to trigger. They're going to get a good jillion tokens this turn. Alright, so blocks. Block here. Block here. Double block here. Just kill everything. And now the Ocelot Pride's going to give him a bunch of tokens. Yeah, actually just 2 cat tokens. That's not that bad. Okay, so here I think we're going to sack a Familiar. Oh, look at that. And we're going to win. cast Sam. Bring back the familiar. Always yield. Always yield. And now just go through. It's good to, with Moto, it's good to like put your triggered abilities where you like to rest your mouse. I like to do it near the creature that's sacrificing, so it's not as bad to like go through the motions. Well, that was a very exciting win in Game 1 against Boros Energy, the boogeyman of the format. Now, it's going to be harder in Games 2 and 3 because they are going to bring in Blood Moon. We don't have much to deal with Blood Moon, and our mana bases are really bad. But you saw how good Abhorrent Oculus was in this matchup. It just gave us tons of blockers, slowed down their pressure, it advanced our game plan, and it really saved my little mistake I made there where I thought that we had the win and then we didn't. Gave us a couple extra turns, and here we are winning the game. It is annoying when they make you go through the whole thing, but it's Magic Online. What can you do? If only you can get, like, it would be so much easier if you can get those to stack automatically. That's like the hardest part is like stacking those triggers, the Sam and the cat. And I guess they're playing for me to misclick, which I could misclick and sack the Sam. That would be really bad. See, if it was Carrion Feeder, there'd be less clicks. It's just a whole thing, so. But we got there. GG. And boom. All right, on to game 2. So here, Grist, Culling Ritual. This card's incredible in this matchup. You cast this spell, and you probably just win the game. And we're going to want some more endurances because that Flage is impossible. So this is not really a Badgermole Cup matchup. We're not trying to accelerate here. Scout is really good. Oculus is really good. So this is the hardest part of this deck, I think, is like finding the cards to cut. We are bringing in some stuff that doesn't get hit off a Birthing Ritual, so I'll trim a Ritual, and I'll trim a Chord, and because you like never want to touch the combo. I can see maybe trimming like a Goose, but Goose is so good at blocking early. Yeah, this is what we're going to go with and see how it goes. On to game 2. Alright, game 2 against Boros Energy, and we are on the draw. No lands. No lands. We're going to ship this one. Easy ship. All right, this is great. We got Culling Ritual. We have some combo pieces. We'll probably throw back. I think we want all the lands for the Culling Ritual, so we're gonna throw back a Visceraseer. Done, and pass the turn. This hand is soft to Flage. That's about it. Oh yeah, and it's also soft to Blood Moon. Because we're going to have no way of casting that. Alright, so I think it's important to get a Forest here in case they have Blood Moon. But Young Wolf is going to do really great at blocking the Ragavan. They kind of need exactly Static Prison. So we'll play the Misty, crack it, Go get Basic Forest and cast Young Wolf and pass. It's a snap block here. A turn 2 Blood Moon is just lights out for us, so need to have that Young Wolf. The youngest of all the wolves. Opponent played a Windswept Heath. They move to attacks, and they don't attack. All right, that's awesome for us. So here, I think we're just gonna not play a creature. We kind of want them to overcommit into a culling ritual, and then we can play our stuff. So I'm gonna play a Windswept Heath here and pass, and we'll surveil when we get the opportunity. Now again, if they just have Blood Moon, we're dead. But there's like nothing we can do about that. Playing the Carrion Feeder won't stop them from killing us with a Blood Moon. So, all right, that's not how you fetch if you're going for a Blood Moon, unless you already have a Plains in your hand. So that's good. Very good for us. And they surveil a Galvant. Huh, that's really interesting. You would think they want the discharge. So they probably already have one. Maybe they're searching for a Plains or like another fetch land or a Blood Moon to just lock us out of the game. Guide of Souls, okay. That's a good play for us. Combat. Are they gonna swing? No attacks. Beautiful. We'll crack the Windswept Heath, and since we have an Overgrown Tomb, we will get a Lush Portico. Surveil. Malevolent Rumble. Rumble helps us get towards Oculus and our combo, so we're going to keep that on top. And pass. And now we will Rumble. I think Endurance is the most important card here. It's a bummer we're milling over the Mortuary, but it's not a big deal. So we'll get the Endurance. And then we'll play a Verdant Catacombs. And now what this does is it sets up a Culling Ritual next turn to just wipe their board. We're also able to, if they don't play Blood Moon here, we can Culling Ritual and then play an Oculus by fetching for a Breeding Pool and using the Overgrown Tomb. So that's looking really nice. And they're playing, okay, a Johnny, okay. Again, this is looking really good for us if they are just committing to the board like this. I just need them to not kill the spawn token. If they don't kill the spawn token, then we are going to be able to ritual into Oculus. If they do kill the spawn token, it's going to be a little messier. Okay. Get Breeding Pool tapped. Untap. Play the Overgrown Tomb untapped. And we're going to do black, green, white, colorless, Culling Ritual. This is going to generate 5 mana for us. So we're going to make 1 black, 4 green. Yield to all. And then we can cast the Oculus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 3 more mana, so we can Endurance their stuff away, or we can cast Carrion Feeder. I think just Endurancing their stuff away is really good here. So Endurance you. pass, and Manifest Dread. I mean, they could have a Galvanic Discharge here to kill the Oculus, which would suck. Okay. So now even if they play Blood Moon, we have a Boseiju to kill it. We have an active Oculus. We're looking pretty good here. I mean, I could have held off on one turn for the Culling Ritual, but it felt right to play it on that turn. Our board is huge now. Oh, look at that. We win the game and the match. We 2-0'd Boros Energy. Let's go. All right, here we go. Time for round 3. We lost the die roll, so we are on the draw again. All right, this is a little land heavy. Has no combo pieces. A little bit of ramp with the Badger Mole Cub. And some disruption with the Haywire Mite. I think we have to mulligan this hand. It really doesn't do anything. This is much better. So we have 2 great turn 1 plays. An amazing turn 2 plays. I think we're actually going to toss back the Badger Mole Cub because going like Wolf, Ritual, Ritual. And if we draw land like Wolf, Ritual, Cauldron, Familiar, Ritual will be crazy. So we're going to keep this and toss back the Cub. And just hope that our opponent isn't on like Spell Snare deck, which with a Teferi avatar they might be. Flooded Strand and pass. It's sounding maybe like they are on Spell Snare deck. We'll shock in a Tomb, play a Wolf, and pass. See what the opponent does. Still thinking they're probably on some sort of control deck, maybe Jeskai Blink or something like that. Meticulous Archive, Surveil, and they keep it on top. Always scary. Always scary. Oh, yeah, this is definitely a control deck, so puts us in a tough position because they're almost definitely going to be able to counter the Birthing Ritual. So it kind of makes me want to not play the Birthing Ritual, maybe waste their turn. So I'm gonna attack with the Young Wolf. Get in for 1. Opponent down at 18, and then we're going to Surveil. Put a Sam on top. That's kind of nice, and then cast a Cauldron Familiar. Okay, so they're cycling Alluring Revealed, getting a Steam Vents, and alright, they pathed my Cauldron Familiar. That's awful because our force is in our hand. Oh, and I just shuffled away. Wow, I was not thinking at all there. I shuffled away the Sam. I should have just said no. That was so dumb. Okay, opponent cast a Narset. That's pretty good. Now they have to have exactly force of negate up. There's the force negation. Yeah, this very quickly spiraled out of control for me. I kind of screwed up there by shuffling, but it worked out because we got an endurance. We're gonna attack Narset down to 2. That way, if they want to use it, they're gonna lose it. Now they could just Daze Undoing us next turn, and we're just completely screwed. But we're going to hold on to this Endurance and just cast this Endurance on their end step or when they cast Daze Undoing and see what happens there. If we draw another land, we can go Ritual, which will be really nice. Endurance on the stack, opponent's tanking. Do they want to counter it? They don't want to counter it. Okay, we're going to say nope. Don't want them to shuffle that stuff back in. We don't have a graveyard at all. All right, and let's untap. And we draw Chord of Calling. Okay, so Chord of Calling. We don't have enough to grab an Oculus yet. We could get a Badger Mole Cub, a Sam. I think the first step here is to just attack down the Narset with just the Endurance. Yeah, I think that's the plan. And then we're going to cast Cauldron Familiar and hold up Chord for 1. We can get like a Viscer Seer or something. What's a... Oh, opponent is pathing the Endurance. Okay, this might be to react. No, they have the Force Negation. Oh my god, this is so hard. Just let it happen. No. Damn. Cast a Familiar. I thought about courting for Sylvan Safekeeper, but they could just force a negation the Chord and not great, so we are forcing them to not use their Gaia Reach, which is really annoying with the Narset. Okay, so here on their end step, we are going to Chord for 1. And they're going to hard cast Force Negation. Beautiful. Okay. Very nice. So now they have to have another Force Negation in blue spell in hand. So we're going to start off by killing that Narset. Maybe. Oh, and there's a Solitude. So we did not kill the Narset. Now we have two Cauldron Familiars gone. There's only 2 left in the deck. This might be... We might need to win by beating down. We'll cast the Birthing Ritual. If they have a Force Negation, like, whatever. Okay, cool. Very sick. And now the Gilded Goose. And even if they Daze Undoing us, like, it's going to... We have... Birthing Ritual is just so good. Okay, so here we're going to sack the Wolf and get a Viscer Seer. Helps us, you know, scry when they target removal at our guys. Supreme Verdict. Okay, so sack there. Badger Mole Cub. Badger Mole Cub is really nice because we can cast it, put counters on Lush Portico, cast Birthing Ritual, and then Birthing Ritual away the Lush Portico. Yeah, that's a lot of value. So we're going to keep that on top. And pass. Opponent's down to 2 cards. Pretty good for us. Do that. Now, do I want to knock down the Narset, or do I want to get down another Birthing Ritual? I think I'm going to be greedy here. They only have 2 cards left. I'm going to Birthing Ritual. Alright, so first one, we can sack the Portico and get a Familiar. That's awesome. Surveil that to the yard. Okay. And now Ritual again. Oh, that's beautiful. So we can sack the Familiar and get... Should we get a Sam? No, I don't want to get Sam. I want to get another Badger Mole Cub. It's just so much value. And pass. We're trying to out-card advantage them. Even though they are going to lock us out now by Gaia reaching in our draw step. but that's like totally fine, because we're gonna really beat them down here. And we also could just straight up win with the double birthing rituals on this turn. So okay, everybody, we'll send 2 of you at Narset and 1 at Pepe. There we go. All right, end step trigger. We'll sack the Cub and get a Sam. And then we'll bring back the Familiar to get another Sam trigger. And now we just need... Oh! And they're just scooping. That's a little premature. We only had 3 hits for sack outlets. They very, very possibly could... I could have whiffed and they could have untapped and wrathed us. Like, I don't know why they conceded there, but we'll take it. Okay, so we're playing against Control. Incredibly annoying matchup. What do we want against Control? Gaiti is only good against big Teferi. Lavinia's good. Can stop their free spells, so that's nice. Dothi Voidwalker. Oh yeah, we'll bring in the Sun Cleanser, hedging on Wrath of the Skies. It just completely blanks Wrath of the Skies. And Grist. Grist is hard for them to deal with. So we'll cut in the Endurance. Tremor Rumble. Scouts are good for when they counter my stuff, bringing them back. Also, they should have Supreme Verdict. Maybe the Oculus isn't good. No, the Oculus is good because, like, they have to kill it. And if I can just, like, get it out early, then they have to put a lot of resources into it. I'll cut a Cord. So, Endurance, the Rumble, a Cord, bring in Lavinia, Sun Cleanser, and Grist. And if we don't see Wrath in game 2, then I can cut the Sun Cleanser and bring back the Cord. Alright, game 2, up a game against Control. Alright, opponent, decide if you're going to play first. They did, so we're on the draw. This hand is awesome. It's got 3 different 2-drops. So it's like they got must answer, must answer, must answer, must answer, and then this can tie it all together. So this is great keep. We're going to play Vern Catacombs first for a Surveil land and see what the opponent does and how we're going to react to it. So they play Surveil land first, and they keep it on top. We draw an Overgrown Tomb. Okay, that's great. So now we can play the Verdant Catacombs, and we can get a Lush Portico to Surveil. Well, maybe we want to get... So, okay, that's why the blue splash is not really free. Maybe we want to get Breeding Pool, so that we can just slam Lavinia. That might be the play. Go grab Breeding Pool, slam Lavinia. Because if we get Lush Portico, then our play is Sam, and Sam without a follow-up isn't great. We can wait a couple turns to be able to cast Sam if we get... And then... oh yeah, we can't cast Lavinia no matter what, because we don't have white. Okay. So, what are we going to do? I think because we don't have white because of the Overgrown Tomb, and we were not going to get the Breeding Pool, instead we're going to get Lush Portico. So, I overlooked that when I kept that hand. The mana base for this deck is really difficult, And we just got saved with a Windswept Heath on top. That's beautiful. Now we can untap, play the Heath, get our breeding pool, and slam Lavinia. That's going to turn off. Lavinia turns off their Force Negations and their Solitudes. Yeah, each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands they control. Oh, and they're just going to path it. Well, I'll take that. It's a little bit of ramp. We're going to be able to untap on turn 3 with 4 mana, which means we can go like Sam into Birthing Ritual. Or maybe just slam Grist. We'll see what the opponent does. So they play Hallowed Fountain Pass. They have 5 cards in hand. We get a Goose. So let's... We can play Goose. Okay, so what we could do is we could play Goose, pass. We can play Beseiju, play Goose, pass. Have Court for 1. And then maybe like go Sam into Birthing Ritual and win the game next turn. I like that. Play the Goose. And pass. Opponent has Galvanic Discharge? No, Cycling Lorien revealed. Okay. So we have Court for 1 up. Not 100% sure if we're going to play it or not. Just, again, these control matchups, you have to wait and see what your opponent does and react to them. So the opponent is passing to their second main, where they're probably going to play the Thundering Falls. Oh, no, a Monumental Hedge. Interesting. So they want to cast something, or they want to just activate the hedge. So we're going to Court for 1 here and try and get them to react. We want our opponent to cast spells on their turn to open up casting spells on our turn. So they did nothing there, which is interesting. So I think here we are going to grab... We can grab Sylvan Safekeeper. We can grab Cauldron Familiar. Safekeeper is interesting because it can protect our stuff that sticks. And I think I'm going to just grab the Sylvan Safekeeper. We have a lot of lands. We're about to have 5 lands, so we can protect a lot of stuff. And let's see where it goes from here. All right, we untap and draw. Scout for Survivors. Okay. That's really good if they Wrath us. So let's bait with Birthing Ritual. See if they counter it, spend some mana. Okay, that just resolved. This is really strange. I think I'm just going to slam Grist. I want to keep Sam. Oh, they have a counterspell for this? Subtlety. Okay. So we're going to just put Grist on the bottom. That's fine. And we get Birthing Ritual trigger. And Sun Cleanser. So we actually haven't seen any of the stuff that you'd want Sun Cleanser for. I just kind of hedged by taking it. So I think here we're going to get Carrion Feeder. That puts us just 1 card away from winning the game next turn. So get Carrion Feeder. And now we just hope that they don't have a Wrath. We're hoping for no Wrath, and we're hoping for no Counterspell on Sam. If they do have Counterspell for Sam, we're hoping for a white source to cast Scout for Survivors. Okay, and see, there's the Wrath of the Skies. That's going to get the Safekeeper, the Carrion Feeder, the Food Token, and the Birthing Ritual. So I actually should have gotten the Sun Cleanser there. I was right to think that. All right, now we're hoping for a white source. A white source allows us to go Sam Scout. And there's a white source. Temple Garden. And we'll cast Sam. And we'll cast Scout. Get Safekeeper, Carrion Feeder, Goose. get a ton of food, and pass. Alright, so now they need another Wrath of the Skies. It is sad we lost the Birthing Ritual, but that was a really good scout for survivors. They still have an active Henge, which is annoying. There's a lot of annoying stuff happening right now, honestly. But we are just a cat away from winning, which is great. There's Teferi. Okay. Are they going to try and bounce one of our creatures? Okay, they're going to try and bounce that. So not only is it not getting bounced, but we're denying their card draw. They probably should have tried to bounce a food token if they wanted to draw a card. They can't attack. That's great. And let's untap and draw. And we got a goose. So I want to sack that goose to the carrion feeder. So we're just going to cast it right now. Do I have any historic cards to bring back? Oh, yes I do. Okay. Because I can sack the Boseiju and then bring it back. Okay, cool. So we're going to lose the geese to take down the Teferi, but I think that's correct. Because we don't want them to be able to cast... well, they're gonna lose their subtlety. It's okay. So they're pathing Sylvan Safekeeper. So we're going to give it Shroud by sacking Boseiju. And now at instant speed, we can bring back Boseiju with the food token and then use it. Okay, so opponent is not sacking their subtlety, which is kind of great for us. It means that they are not going to Wrath. They only have one card left. So we're actually looking pretty... Actually, let's see here. Do I want to just get rid of the Henge now so that they... I think it's actually the right play is to get rid of the Henge right now. That way they can't start drawing cards with it and gain some card advantage. So let's sack 3 food. Get back Boseiju. Hit the Henge. And then we even have enough food tokens to do it again. And enough mana to do it again and make another food token. So we're looking kind of nice right now. There's definitely like a merit to like having done the Boseiju in their draw step instead of right there. But I really wanted to make sure that they couldn't activate the Henge in response to me Boseiju-ing it. Alright, so now we will create a food token. And do we want to try and take them off of more mana? I think getting them off of white might be good. So let's just do it again. How about that? We are now a land destruction deck. We'll hit the Hollowed Fountain. Boseiju only being 1 mana because of Sam is awesome. Like, this is a really great combination for sure. And being able to start it off by, like, sacking it to Sylvan Safekeeper is a really sweet play. I hope we win this game because it's been a lot of really sweet plays in it. And there's a Birthing Ritual. Beautiful. Alright, so we'll start off attacking with Carrion Feeder. See if opponent blocks. They don't block. It's awesome. And we'll slam this and see if they counter it. They probably will. Okay. Okay, opponent. And there is... Okay, I think we just win here. So we sack the goose. Get a Cauldron Familiar. Make a food. So now we have 2 food, which means that they have to have 2 pieces of interaction to stop us winning. Wow. Did we really get there against control in 2 games. Sack the cat. And see how much easier it is to combo when you have a carrion feeder here? Let's go! All right. We beat Control 2-0. All right, I'll see you in the next round. All right, and we're back with round 4. We lost the die roll again, so we'll be on the draw. Currently 2-1 in this league. Not bad, not bad. Always hope to at least 3-2, if not better, you know. All right, opponent. Gotta decide if you want to go first or not. Do you like their young Peasy avatar? Guess at this point that card's old school, huh? Completely power crept out of every format. All right, what we got here? So we got Overgrown Tomb, a Dryad Arbor, Sam, Viscera Seer. See, this is like, you know, you really want to keep this hand because you can go turn 1 Dryad Arbor, turn 2 Birthing Ritual, or like Badger Mole Cub. But like, if they deal with your Dryad Arbor, you're just completely screwed. This is one of the hardest keeper moles that I've had this entire league. I think because we have Dryad Arbor in our hand, we're gonna mull this one. It's really painful, but we're gonna do it. And this is not much better. But Rumble can tie the room together, and so can the Surveil lands. I don't really want to go down to 5. So I think this is going to be like one of the worst hands we keep the whole league. Tossing back the Mortuary. The opponent also went down to 6. Did they keep it? They kept 6. Okay. So we're on the draw. They went to 6. We could go down to 5. Because we'll only be down 1 card. Yeah, we're going to mull this hand. It's too many lands. Not enough action. Okay. So this one, we're going to toss back the Arbor. We'll have 3 land... toss back the Arbor and a land. We'll have 2 lands and 3 spells. That's as good as this is going to get. Hurts to go down to 5, but... Are we playing against... Oh, yeah. See, I think it was right to mull that first hand. Because they could just easily kill the Dryad Arbor, and then we'd be completely screwed. Here we're not going to cast the Haywire Might. I want to save that for Goblin Bombardment. We're just going to simply Surveil. Probably Surveil and then cast Samwise Gamgee. Unless they give us a gift here. They give us a gift and they cast a Bombardment. Nope. No gift, no gift. They cast a Bombardment. It would have been so beautiful. Like the easiest slam Haywire Might ever. But this is a really good start for Boros. It's going to be difficult to win this game 1. Luckily, we have a lot of good cards for the sideboard games. Underground Mortuary, Surveil. And we will put the cat in the yard. And let's see what we draw. Alright, we draw land. So we could slam a Sam. It could very easily die. We could just put a Birthing Ritual on the board. So we could put a Birthing Ritual on the board. And then next turn, we could cast Sam, fetch for Dryad Arbor, bring back the Familiar, and then maybe win the game with Birthing Ritual. I think that is the path to victory here. Maybe we can lull them into a false sense of security and they tap out, and then we can just untap and win. See what happens here. Yield. Oh, there's the Goblin Bombardment. Okay. So now they have 2 creatures to sack to kill the Sam. But that might be... that might be fine if they do that. We also could just go haywire and might kill the bombardment. But I think I'm going to try and force their hand here. See what happens. They sacrifice both creatures, then I can still fetch for Dryad Arbor and bring back a familiar for the ritual trigger. Oh. So they let the trigger happen. We'll get Dryad Arbor. Bring back a cat. I'm surprised the opponent's letting us do all this, but they might be valuing their 2 creatures too much. Alright. Back up to 10 life. I did not realize we were that low. That's kind of crazy. And then we'll get, a Carrion Feeder and win the game. Oh, that's so beautiful. Sack the Dryad Arbor, get a Carrion Feeder, make a token. What's up, opponent? Do you realize your mistake? Do you realize you should have sacked your board to kill the Sam? Alright, so now we have 2 food. We will sack the Cauldron Familiar. We will bring back the cat in response to the Goblin Bombardment. And then if they try and hit it again, we have another food to sack to bring back the cat. That's why this deck is so tricky to play against. Make another food. Sack the cat. Alright, opponent, you lost. You can concede or just like let this stuff resolve. Let's go. That's fine. Put 1 damage marked on it. Cat comes back. Always yield. Always yield. And then let's just go through the motions 18 times. There we go. Thank you, opponent. We won game 1 on a mull to 5. Look at that. Okay. So, we want Culling Rituals. We want Sun Cleanser. We want Grist. And Endurances. We don't need the Cubs. We can trim. And then I guess a birthing ritual. Trim on that since we're bringing culling rituals. All right, let's see how this goes. Great hand. Great hand. We have stuff to protect. We have a way of catching back up if they go really wide. Now again, as always in this matchup, we are really soft to Blood Moon, but like there's nothing you can do about that. Luckily, their strongest play is turn 1, Ragavan, turn 2, Blood Moon, so did not get that. And now we get to set up a turn 2 Grist, which is really hard for them to deal with. So we'll play a Goose and pass. All right, opponent plays Ghost Vacuum. That's, as we saw in the last game, Ghost Vacuum can only do so much in the face of multiple food tokens. That's why like using the Goose as a mana dork is usually not the best play. You usually want to use it more as a Thraben Inspector, where you're going to use the food tokens for your familiars to come back and not for mana. But I think like a turn 3 Grist or turn 2 Grist is just like so powerful that we're gonna want to just risk it here. So and tick up. Hopefully we don't mill something important. All right, just mill the land. Perfect. And pass. Opponent didn't even use the Ghost Vacuum. They don't know. Oh, all right, they have a Static Prison. That's a very good card. Hit the Grist, okay. We'll just yield. That's a little rough, but we'll be able to deal with that, I think. Especially if we can get a Sun Cleanser. Okay, Windswept Heath. So here I think our play is first attack with the Insect Token. And then I think we're going to want to play a Young Wolf and hold up making a food token. The reason we want to do that, well, actually, we're going to have 4 mana next turn anyway for the Culling Ritual. So I think the plan here is actually to hold up a Surveil land and make a food. So we'll just play the Windswept Heath and pass. Opponent casts Galvanic Discharge on the Goose. In response, we will make a food. Now, if they try to dash in a Ragavan here, we might want to fetch a Dryad Arbor and Chump. But we'll just see what the opponent does before we make any rash decisions. Okay, they cast a Johnny. That's beautiful. If they have no follow-up here, we are going to have a phenomenal turn 4. Alright, we'll get a Mortuary. Surveil. Put that in the yard. And untap. And a Rumble. So, that's awesome. This is going to be a really crazy turn. Alright, so we'll play Avern Catacombs, fetch. And here I'm just going to get a Forest because we've taken a lot of damage so far. And now we're going to cast the Culling Ritual and make a ton of mana. We're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. And get our Grist back. And cast all of our spells. Alright. So we need 1 black. I think we're going to do 2 black and 4 green. We'll start off upticking Grist. Oh, bummer. That would have been a great draw. We'll cast a Mumble. And we'll get a Birthing Ritual. Great. We'll cast that with green and black. And then we'll cast a Feeder and a Young Wolf and pass. Well, that was a pretty good turn 4. It's actually not over yet. And we'll get a Sun Cleanser. That sounds awesome. Well, actually, do we have a cat? We don't have a cat in the yard, so I think just getting Sun Cleanser is gonna really hurt. Wait, what happened? What just happened? Did I misclick? Did I choose nothing? Wow, I chose nothing. I misclicked. Okay. Well, I just gave the opponent a way to come back into the game, which is a bummer, but it happens. It's Magic Online. We misclick all the time. So, all right, we drew a Dryad Arbor. Let's start off upticking Grist. Ooh, the Culling Ritual would have been nice. Let's attack with Young Wolf and Carrion Feeder and Insect. And we'll play a Safekeeper. I don't believe Boros runs any board wipes. So, I mean, that's famous last words, right? Like, they might just, like, untap and play a Pyroclasm and we're screwed. But we'll see what happens here. I can't believe I misclicked there, but... okay, they're getting rid of the Birthing Ritual. That misclick is going to haunt me if I lose this game. But we're still in a pretty powerful position. Opponent plays a Voice of Victory. Okay. Not bad, not bad. We'll untap. What do we draw? A Chord of Calling. Okay, so let's uptick Grist. And attack with Carrion Feeder. Opponent doesn't do anything. Okay. And we're just going to chord. Chord for 3. And get the Oculus. I could get Sun Cleanser, but I think the Oculus is just going to run away with the game. And now we're just a cat away from winning. Also, Grist is threatening to deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 11. Alright, so they're casting Stone of Eric. So if your creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Okay. That's fine. Do I want to sack anything to the Feeder in response? I don't think so. Now that the Grist can only deal 6. That's also fine. So if they block here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus Grist minus, I win. Let's just do it. Let's just swing out. I think we won this, even with the misclick. opponent blocks Sylvan Safekeeper, goes down to 1, and Ultimate Grist. All right, we got it. We beat Boros 2-0 with misclicks. All right, we are 3-1, and we'll see you for the 5th and final match of the league. All right, we're back here with the last round. Oh, and we're playing against Big Dan Teague, which this is our opponent is on burn. It is P Sully. Yes, I am. What up, P Sully? Yeah, Patrick Sullivan is a big. He's a fan of my band, which is what I named the channel after. So this is fun. Oh hell yeah. This is part of my first YouTube video for my new channel named Nightwitch MTG. LOL. He's probably gonna steamroll us. I don't know how we can beat Burn. Okay, so let's get going here. So, I made channels, but am currently making the first video. This is match 5. All right. So this is hilarious. Playing against Burn. And I'm on the draw. I'm on the draw, and like I want to cast the Cub the first turn, but I can't because of the Surveil land. I could just do like Badgermole Cub turn 2. He'll kill it. I could put the counter on the Mortuary. This is so hard. Like, knowing I'm against Burn makes this really, really difficult to decide if I'm going to keep or mull here. I do get a draw. So if I draw a land and can play the Familiar turn 1, that'd be great. I'm just going to keep it and see what happens. This is a really difficult decision here. And we have Sylvan Safekeeper. So we're just going to Surveil here. See what we get. We want another land. Oh, that's so hard. I'm going to toss that Ritual in the yard. I really need another land. I feel like every creature I'm going to play is going to die, so a Birthing Ritual is not great. Probably going to bolt us here. Oh, no bolt. Okay. Oh my god. So I'm so excited that Patrick just played Keldon Marauders, because he was tweeting about using this card with Arena of Glory. That's so sick. No Arena of Glory. Phew. All right. We're gonna just play the Badgermole Cub here. Obviously, we're not gonna chump block the Keldon Marauders, but I'm also probably playing a little loose here because I'm playing against someone I know. But what can you do? You know, it's the 5th round. We already got our money back. I'm gonna try and tighten up, and also like I'm never gonna play against Burn at RCs or RCQs or anything. So this is just fun. So he's gonna crack in for 3 here, get me down to 16, and then when this leaves next turn, it's gonna get me down to 15. So this thing dealt a lot of damage to me. It's gonna be 4 damage when it all comes down to it. And there's another Keldon Marauders. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So good. Okay, so now we're going to cast the Wolf. And we're going to gain a little bit of life back. This is so sick. I'm so glad we're playing this matchup. I wish we drew a land there. Because going like Wolf into Birthing Ritual would have been very dope, but what can you do? So that vanishes, deals 1 to me, down to 15. Barbarian Ring means that I am at a virtual... Well, then you get Threshold first, but I'm at a virtual 13 here. I'm going to jump this Keldon Marauders with a Young Wolf, for sure. It's hard for Burn to deal with something that comes back like that. Alright, Raucous Theater, Surveil. Put it in the yard. Oh, I wanted you to draw a Scalding Tarn. Alright, attack with the Keldon Marauders. Block with the Young Wolf. Young Wolf Undying Trigger will always yield. Take nothing. Opponent has 3 cards. Lava Spike, down to 12. Oh god, the Chandra's Incinerator. Alright, that's really difficult to deal with. It has Trample. At least it doesn't have Flying, but that's rough, man. And again, we don't draw land. So we have to just slam a Birthing Ritual, and hope to like get like a Young Wolf or something, probably. Alright, so we have Goose, Badgermole Cub. I think the play here is to sack... I think it's to get the Goose. So we'll sack here, get a Goose. Get a food, and Surveil. And put that on top. Okay. So now we can win next turn if we don't die. We are at virtual 10. We're at virtual 9. So Chandra's Incinerator. So, alright, so we're down to 11 here. Barbarian Ring needs 1 more card in the yard. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So cat's down. So we're at 11. This gets us to 5. That if they get enough, so if they have like Lightning Bolt, so this gets us a 5. Lightning Bolt will get us to 2, and then Barbarian Ring gets us to dead. So let's see what the opponent has here. Raucous Theater. I'm really curious what this last card is. If the last card is I think we just have to block here with the Goose. No, with the block here with the Goose, just in case there's a Bolt. Take 4, go to 7. We're at 5. So, wonder what their last card is. Screw the... Okay, we won. Well, no, we didn't necessarily win, sorry, because now we can't cord because we have no creatures. So we'll play the Verdant Catacomb. Get a Temple Garden, go to 1. Oh, shit. Well, I just screwed up. We lost because I screwed up. I totally forgot about the Barbarian Ring. I had been planning on the Barbarian Ring the whole time, and I just screwed up by going to 1. So that's on me. I lost this game that was winnable. Well, I mean, I guess like I couldn't have cast a Sam without going to 1. Maybe I should have double blocked the Chandra's Incinerator is what I should have done. And then I would have been able to fetch shock fine. But yeah, now I'm just dead because that doesn't have timing restrictions, so I screwed up. we'll cast a Sylvan Safekeeper, and then he's gonna see the Barbarian Ring win and just kill me. Yeah. I should have double blocked there. Whoops. Alright, we're dead. Okay. Let's see here. So, against Burn, Crystal Barricade obviously is good. Grist could deal with the Chandra's Incinerator, which is really hard to deal with. And I think that's it. We're going to keep the Haywire Might in just in case. We can cut some Cubs. I think Scout for Survivors is going to be huge in this matchup. Alright, so let's try this. Oh, I punted that one so bad, but that's why we make the videos, so we can look back and see what we did wrong, and also y'all can help me out figure out what I did wrong, because I probably am doing stuff wrong I don't even see. Alright, we're going to keep this one. Rumbles are great, Carrion Feeder's great, Sam's great. We almost have the combo. Yeah, we'll just keep this. See what happens. These openings though with no white and surveillance have been rough. Keep that on top and pass. And pass. Okay, Arena Glory. So we're gonna play Urboseiju and Rumble here. And we're going to grab the Goose. And now we have the combo in the yard. So we're actually threatening lethal next. We're threatening lethal on turn 3. So we'll see what the opponent does here. Swift Spear. Attack. Maybe there's a surgical extraction or something. No, nothing? Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, if we want to play around surgical extraction, we can just cast Scout for Survivors here. And then follow it up with a Goose. Or we can cast Goose and then Scout for Survivors to try and get the Oculus in up here, or we can just try to win the game. So do we want to play around? I think we want to play around surgical extraction. So let's start off with a Goose. And then we're going to fetch Shock. Because if they have to burn a surgical extraction on an Oculus, we want that to happen. That way they're not burning it on our cat. Alright, there we go. That should be really hard for the burn opponent to play through. And we'll get a Viscera Seer. Alright, we win that one. Alright, on to game 3. So for all the marbles. Yeah, it's just really hard when you're stuck on one land like that. And your opponent has an important Oculus that's a 6/6. Really difficult there. So, alright. This is for all the marbles. One more game. I don't think there's anything I want to change. I think this is good, so we're just going to run it back. Alright. So this is interesting because the Goose is amazing turn 1, but we don't have any lands turn 2. But even if we go Goose turn 1, they kill it, Goose turn 2, that's still going to slow them down a lot from killing us. So I think I'm gonna risk it and keep this because if we can cast the Rumble on turn 2, it'll find us a land and we'll get rolling. So let's just go with this and see what happens. It might be risky, but again, like, it's a difficult matchup when your opponent just has all removal spells, and you also never play against this matchup ever. So cast a Goose. They're probably gonna just kill it, but we get a food token. All right, opponent fetches and surveils. Thinking, and puts a Bolt Wave in the yard, so probably looking for lands. Lands are like direct damage to any target instead of just opponents. All right, Arid Mesa. All right, Rift Bolt. Okay, we got really lucky here. So we're going to go ahead and Rumble and hope that we hit a land. All right, there's a Wooded Foothills. Grab the Wooded Foothills. Play the Wooded Foothills. And here, I think what we want to do is grab a forest and slam a Birthing Ritual and just like hope they don't kill the Goose. Or maybe just play another Goose. Or play a Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm high rolling. All right, we got the trigger. The Sam will just die to this. So we're going to just look at the cards and say no. If we get a fetch land, we can slam an Oculus next turn. Which is pretty nice. All right, Rift Bolt. Is that going to hit my Gilded Goose or is it going to go to the face? All right, they're probably trying to set up a Chandra's Incinerator here, if I had to guess. Searing Blaze. I'm at 11. And Lava Spike at 8. Okay. At 8, and there's 2 cards left. Okay, so we play the Godless Shrine, and we play Samwise, Carrion Feeder, and hope to just win the game off of the Birthing Ritual. We are dead to 2 bolts if we do that. So maybe we don't make that play. Maybe we... Oh, this is really difficult. Maybe we just play the Goose and the Safekeeper and the Godless Shrine tapped. That way we don't go so low that we just die to bolt. And that's tapped. And let's go get our Birthing Ritual trigger. Give me something good. Give me something good. Completely whiffed. Okay. Completely whiffed. Well, the opponent needs to have exactly triple bolt to beat us here, which like is very possible, but I'm holding out hope that we get another turn. Smash the Smithereens the food token. Okay. We're at 5. Okay, Seal of Fire. Okay. So we're at a virtual 3. Opponent has a Seal of Fire. However, like, we have a Sylvan Safekeeper. So that's going to really protect us. Okay, do we just slam? No, we can't slam Oculus. Because if we slam Oculus, then we go down to 2 life. And the Seal of Fire kills us. So we're going to start off by playing a Sam. And then we're going to play a Carrion Feeder. And, like, we just need to keep our fingers crossed that there is a cat in the top 7 cards. And if there is, we win. Oh my god, I love this game. Magic is the greatest game ever made. Sack the goose, get the cat. Yield all, or not yield, but yeah, always yield to those. And I think we beat Burn. Wow, that was crazy. GG's. That was awesome. What a great way to end the game. What a great way to end the first league we're playing on this new YouTube channel. Night Witch MTG. We got our 4-1. We only lost to Storm. We beat Boros Energy twice, and we beat Control once. So if you're looking to play this for your RCQ season, I think this build that I believe the person's name is Fred Tan innovated. I think this is really great. Having the hate bears instead of reactive cards was really helpful in these matches. I think that's what we want to be doing in this deck. I don't think that right now removal spells and thought seizes are what we want. I think we just want a lot of creatures, ways to find our combo, ways to stop our opponent from playing their game while also having a beatdown plan at the same time. So thanks for tuning in to the first video on this channel, and hopefully there'll be more. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.